Congressman, let me ask you, President Trump was obviously widely condemned for his comments in which he seemed to be equating both sides for the violence and hatred in Charlottesville. But obviously, let's remove the idea that there's any moral equivalence. Is there any legitimacy to the argument that the violent tactics of groups like Antifa make matters worse and that Democrats and progressives need to condemn them?
You know, anyone that's committing violence ought to be condemned. Anyone. There's no justification for it whatsoever. But I do think that that cannot be allowed to obscure the fact that millions of people are gathering around the country and have since this president was inaugurated in the most peaceful form of protests. And we can't allow the commander-in-chief to somehow equate the handful of people that would make those protests violent with any kind of sentiment that condones white supremacy or neo-Nazism. And I think it all gets back to the point you made earlier, Jake, and I think the fundamental problem here is that the President of the United States can't bring himself to repudiate a part of his support, and that is that small group of bigots that are supporters of his. He's taken a position essentially that if you're with me, you can do no wrong. And I won't condemn you practically anything that you do. His difficulty during the campaign and your interview to condemn David Duke is not at all unlike the difficulty he's had this week in a full-throated, unequivocal repudiation of sentiment and an ideology that we not only find repugnant, but we fought World War over. So I think that's the root of the problem.
Congressman Adam Schiff, Democrat of California, thank you so much. Good to see you as always, sir.
Thank you, Jake.